Alright, budget magic time. Playing some mono white humans, and we got a mulligan. No lands. Man, if we scry into a land, this hand is actually awesome. It's like perfect. Oh, Thalia is so good too, but we gotta put it to the bottom. So we need a land in one of our first two turns, and I really like this hand. Overgrown Tomb for our opponent, untapped down to 17, and Thoughtseize. Well, our opponent hitting themselves down to 15 to Thoughtseize is actually pretty good for us. That's a quarter of their life to take a random 1 or 2 drop, so we're actually pretty okay with this. Goes with Honor of the Pure. Alright. Well, Plains and Champion of the Parish. Best turn. Still want that land. If we can double 1-drop next turn into Thalia's Lieutenant, that's pretty good. Bloodstained Mire for cracks it. Blood Crypt, untapped. And a Dark Confidant. Come on, land. There it is. Alright. Elite Vanguard pumps up our champion. Elite Vanguard pumps up our champion. We get in for 3, or our opponent has to chump with Dark Confidant. And they are to the point where they pretty much need a sweeper. Gets another Dark Confidant, probably not at the top of our opponent's list. I guess it's a good chump blocker. We're pretty protected from a Liliana, and we're pretty close to just winning next turn. Death Shadow. Yup. It's big. Cracks Catacombs. Are they going to play another Dark Confidant? Gets a Swamp, down to 6. There's a Dark Confidant. Alright. Alright. Let's see what we draw. So, Brave the Elements wins this game. Posing Sovereign. Well, let's just Thalia's Lieutenant. Pumps everything. And I guess we just pass the turn. Make our opponent deal with their Dark Confidant triggers. Thoughtseize. And Liliana. Opponent's down to 2. Can't Thoughtseize. And they're probably going to have to kill their own Dark Confidants. Alright, there's Liliana. Takes down. We will sacrifice Thalia's Lieutenant. Opponent passes. Well, Soldier of the Pantheon pumps up Champion. Woe Reaper gonna gain us a life, pump up our champion. And then we just pass again. See if our opponent can survive their Dark Confidant triggers again. Dark Confidant number 1, down to 1 for an Inquisition. Number 2, and that does it. Was it a Tarmogoyf? Yep. Ah, sweet. Well, our opponent's tendency to shoot down their own life total worked in our favor on that one. Probably could have Condemns in the sideboard of that just for this matchup. Condemn seems so good in this matchup. I don't know if we even change anything. I mean, I guess we could bring in Gideon's Lawkeeper. Is pretty good against big creatures. Over like a couple Elite Vanguards, I think are our worst 1-drops, and try it like that. Sure. This is fine. We even have the Brave the Elements to hopefully finish the game. Verdant Catacombs for our opponent. And passes. Well, Plains and we'll just start on Elite Vanguard. Pass the turn. Bloodstained Mire for our opponent. Cycles a Street Wraith. Down to 18. Another one down to 16. Crag's Catacombs. Are they trying to get a Death Shadow down here? Is that the plan? Overgrown Tomb. Down to 13. Bloodstained Mire. Alright. Down to 10. And Death Shadow. Ooh, and Death Shadow. Okay. Well, play a Plains. Play Gideon's Lawkeeper. Play Soldier of the Pantheon. Pass the turn. Well, we might just be dead here. That was a pretty good draw. Or, not draw, opening hand. To have double Death Shadow. Attacks with both. We're going to take it. If we die, we die. Martial Arts cracked. Our best hope is that our opponent falls just short of killing us, and we can kill them on the backswing. Tarfire on our Lawkeeper. And a Goyf. Well, Champion of the Parish. Play a Plains. Imposing Sovereign. So I think we have a line here. If our opponent's last card isn't Temur Battle Rage, we double chump, take the Goyf hit to 4, which turns on Fateful Hour, which makes Champion of the Parish 7 power, and then Brave the Elements for the win. So I think that's our plan. Chump, chump. See if our opponent has Temur Battle Rage as their last card. If they do, then they got us. Looks like they do. Orgor, Clan Rampager, that does the same thing. Yep. Whoo! Alright, run it back. We're pretty close to stealing that win. Alright, it's a one-lander, but it's a fairly reasonable one-lander. We do have a path, so Soldier of the Pantheon, go. We would like to draw a second land, though. Bobbled for our opponent. Cracks it. Marsh Flats. And passes. Come on, Plains. Opponent draws a card. Cracks Marsh Flats. Godless Shrine. Untapped. Well, attack with Soldier. We did not find our land. Play another Soldier. Pass the turn. Overgrown Tomb for our opponent. Untapped, down to 13. And passes. Well, let's attack with both. Put our opponent to 9. Play Elite Vanguard and pass the turn. Another passive fine pickup. Blood Crypt for our opponent. Untapped, down to 7. Death Shadow. Death Shadow. Death Shadow. Man, we are so close. So close. We could put our opponent to 1, but then their Death Shadows are huge. Let's Path of Death Shadow. Play a Plains. And pass the turn. Verdant Catacombs. Opponent attacks with 1. Down to 14. And passes. Well, how do we win here? Well, let's just untap. There's a Plains. Well, let's attack with everything. Opponent blocks 1. Drops to 3. Play Mardu Woe Reaper. Gain a life. Pass the turn. Since we have Path, our opponent needs 2 trample spells. Temur Battle Rage, Gore Clan Rampager. One of them will not get it done. 2 of them can. First up is Abrupt Decay on our blocker. Well, let's Brave the Elements. On black, we gain a life. Verdant Catacombs for our opponent. Attacks with both. Well, we block 1 of them. Opponent cracks down to 2. Oh, come on, not double. I don't think they can double, actually, because they have to get tap lands. Oh, I guess they could have Blossoming Defense. I don't think that's common, though. Opponents to 1. This is it. Oh, they can't Blossoming Defense. I guess Apostle's Blessing, Temur Battle Rage. Well, Path. And that does it. Sweet. Our mono white humans taking down the new hottest deck in Modern. Being able to punish them for diminishing their own life total. Sweet. Death Shadow Jund. We'll take it.